In 2006, a routine police call in Kyiv, Ukraine, quickly turned into one of the most bizarre and puzzling cases the authorities had ever encountered. A young man, confused and disoriented, was found wandering the streets, dressed in clothing that looked like it was from another era. What initially seemed like a case of mental distress took an eerie turn when the police asked for his identification. The ID he produced was not just outdated, it was issued by the Soviet Union, a country that had ceased to exist nearly 2 decades ago. The officers were further baffled when they noticed the man appeared to be in his 20s. Yet his ID indicated he had been born in 1932. When asked what year he thought it was, the man confidently answered, April 23, 1958. The police, unsure of what to make of the situation, escorted him to a psychiatric hospital for further evaluation. At the hospital, the man introduced himself as Sergey and was placed under the care of Dr. Pavel Kudrov, a seasoned psychiatrist known for his methodical approach. Intrigued by Sergey's detailed account, the doctor began asking him how he came to be in 2006. Sergey calmly explained that he had been out for a walk with his camera when he noticed a strange bell-shaped object hovering in the sky. Before he could fully comprehend what was happening, the object emitted a flash of light and everything went dark. When he regained consciousness, he found himself in a Kyiv that was both familiar and unrecognizable. Many of the buildings had changed, and the streets were lined with modern cars. Dr. Kudrov's curiosity peaked when Sergey presented an old Yema Flex camera, a rare model that hadn't been produced since the 1970s. As a photography enthusiast himself, the doctor realized the potential significance of what might be on the film inside. He enlisted the help of a photography expert, Van Poyser, to develop the role. The photos revealed something astonishing. They showed Kyiv as it had looked in the late 1950s. Old cars, Soviet-era street signs, and buildings that no longer stood. Among the images were photos of Sergey, unmistakably the same man found wandering the city, standing beside a woman he identified as his girlfriend. He was dressed in the same clothes the police had found him in. The last photo on the roll sent chills down Dr. Kudrov's spine. It showed the same bell-shaped object Sergey had described, hovering ominously in the sky. Sergey remained adamant about his story. He didn't know how or why it had happened, but he was convinced the UFO had transported him through time. Dr. Kudrov, though skeptical, couldn't deny the strange evidence that supported Sergey's account. He began to theorize that if the object was some sort of advanced technology, it might have utilized principles similar to time dilation. According to this theory, if Sergey had been transported at a speed close to the speed of light, time would have passed differently for him, meaning only a short moment could have passed for him while decades unfolded in the real world. But then, the mystery deepened. That very night, Sergey vanished from the hospital. Security footage showed him entering his room, but there was no record of him leaving. It was as if he had simply disappeared. The police continued to dig into Sergey's past. They found records of a Sergey Ponomarenko, a man who had mysteriously disappeared from Kyiv in 1960. His former girlfriend, now in her 70s, was located and confirmed that Sergey had vanished without a trace in 1958, only to briefly reappear a few days later, before disappearing again in the 1970s. The strangest part? Years after his final disappearance, she received a photograph in the mail, supposedly from Sergey. The photo showed him standing in front of a futuristic version of Kyiv, with a note saying, "I'll be back soon." The photo was dated 2050. The case of Sergey Ponomarenko has since captivated both skeptics and believers. Some see it as one of the most compelling cases of time travel ever documented, while others believe it is nothing more than an elaborate hoax. The story gained widespread attention after a dramatized version aired on a 2012 Ukrainian TV show called Aliens. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.